On the day of the company's annual meeting, Emma escorted a man to the front. She announced to the gathered employees that he was the new vice president. Instantly, all eyes swiveled toward me, and the manager even shot me a condescending look. Emma Thompson had been with the company for years. So why hadn't I received the promotion? Emma merely laughed dismissively. Michael is the cornerstone of the company. He excels at the grassroots level. I knew Emma was confident I wouldn't protest or abandon her. I glanced at the new VP and suddenly understood. He bore an uncanny resemblance to her college sweetheart, who had passed away unexpectedly. A wave of exhaustion washed over me. I removed my company ID badge and tossed it at Emma's feet. "Emma, I'm done." "What do you mean?" Emma asked, slightly irritated. Her eyebrows arched as she attempted to maintain composure in front of the staff. I could sense her simmering anger beneath the surface. Everyone watched intently. Some seemed to relish the drama, others were merely curious, and a few even snickered, anticipating a spectacle. Emma handed my badge back, lowering her voice, but I knew this was as much concession as I'd get. "David is only here temporarily. We go way back. Once the position opens up again, you can apply. We're adults. There's no need for such childish outbursts." But I no longer cared. "No, Emma, I'm done," I said firmly. Emma's expression darkened. She likely didn't expect me to defy her in front of everyone. David interjected, his voice modest and conciliatory. "Emma Thompson truly is the linchpin here. Being parachuted in like this, people might not voice it, but I'm sure they have reservations. I'm willing to start from the bottom and yield the position to someone more qualified." However, Emma grew even angrier at David's humility. "David, enough with the false modesty. No one is more suitable than you. I placed you here because you're the right fit. Anyone with objections can come talk to me directly." With Emma's forceful declaration, no one dared to disagree. They all nodded, vowing to follow her lead. Then Emma turned to me impatiently. "James, I've said my piece. Either do your job or leave." I smirked, aware that she had less tolerance for me than for others, even new interns. Before I could respond, Emma continued, "David, sit beside me. Let's commence the meeting and introduce you to the department heads." Suddenly, I felt like a forgotten fool, standing there aimlessly. I could feel the pitying and mocking gazes of my colleagues. Without a second thought, I removed my wedding ring, placed it on the table, and walked out. "James, leave and don't bother coming back." Emma's angry shout echoed behind me, but I ignored it and kept walking. As soon as I left the room, a few colleagues approached, feigning concern. "James, at our age, isn't job security more important? Losing a job is tough, especially for someone in tech. There are fresh graduates everywhere. Who'd hire someone your age?" "I'm just being honest, no offense." Their words felt like veiled threats. Without Emma's protection, I was nothing. Quitting meant becoming an outcast. After a while, the meeting ended, and I could hear people congratulating Emma for removing the nuisance. Some even insinuated that my marriage was also on the verge of collapse. I looked back at the toxic work environment and the fake smiles, feeling utterly drained. I sighed deeply. I was Emma's husband in name only. This relationship was like an invisible shackle, trapping me and making it hard to breathe. We met in college. I was a year below her, studying finance. My father had been her family's driver for years, almost like one of the family. He had even saved Emma's father's life once, which somehow bound me to her. Her father had wished for us to marry before he passed away. At that time, Emma was still grieving the loss of her lover, who had died in a similar fashion. I stood by her side during her darkest days, helping her heal. Maybe out of gratitude or simply not knowing what else to do, she agreed to marry me. But we never formalized the marriage or acted like a real couple. Whenever I brought it up, she'd use work as an excuse to avoid the topic. I thought her agreement to marry meant she had feelings for me. I believed my support had won her over. I even turned down job offers from prestigious companies to join hers as a tech manager, helping to stabilize the business after her father's death. I didn't intend to disclose our relationship at work, but it ended up putting me at odds with everyone. I worked hard at the office and took care of her at home, hoping my actions would gradually change her heart and make her notice me. But with David's arrival, I finally realized that some hearts were as cold as ice, impervious to warmth no matter how hard I tried. I packed my belongings, headed downstairs, and left the company. The moment I stepped out of the office building, I didn't hesitate. I took out my phone and submitted my resignation. The HR manager approved it promptly. I could already picture Emma's smug expression when she heard I'd quit, but it no longer mattered. I returned to the place my colleagues gossiped about as our shared apartment. In reality, it was just a rented space. I took one last look at the familiar surroundings and quietly gathered my few possessions, ready to leave. On my way to my new place, I suddenly craved a drink. I picked up a few bottles and ended up getting drunk, feeling both heartbroken over the wasted years and elated about my newfound freedom. A couple of days later, I heard a voice. "Oh my goodness. What happened? Why are you lying on the floor? Are you okay?" I rubbed my throbbing head, starting to sober up. The person handed me a glass of water. I looked up and saw a young woman. I hesitated, confused. "Who are you?" She seemed taken aback by my question. Tucking her hair behind her ear, she smiled. "Didn't the landlord tell you? I'm the previous tenant. I'm here to pick up some things I left behind." "Hi, I'm Lily." I frowned, checked my phone, and indeed, there were messages and a missed call from the landlord that I'd likely missed while passed out drunk. As we talked, I learned Lily had just quit her job. Seeing her youthful vitality and her pursuit of freedom made me genuinely envious. After hearing about my recent job loss and the end of my relationship, and noticing the scattered bottles around, Lily exclaimed, "James, why don't we go to the beach together? We've hit it off so well, and since we're both unemployed, let's celebrate our new freedom. I've been dying to go to the beach, but my friends won't go with me. You should come." I studied Vivian's animated features, struck by the sudden realization that I couldn't recall the last time the ocean held any allure for me. Life, it seemed, was full of these unexpected twists. With my job already lost, what else did I have to lose? I wasn't about to starve. We made our way to the neighboring city's coastline. As I watched the waves relentlessly crash against the shore, then recede back into the vast expanse, a rare sense of tranquility washed over me. I found myself opening up to Vivian, who proved to be an incredibly easy person to talk to. Her youthful exuberance, untainted by the cutthroat world of office politics and the perpetual exhaustion it brings, was refreshing. Our conversation flowed seamlessly from dawn until dusk. We marveled at the vibrant hues of the setting sun as it dipped below the horizon, painting the ocean in a riot of oranges, pinks, and purples. Her dreams and the passion with which she spoke about them left me in awe. "James," she began, "I truly believe people shouldn't be prisoners of their past." She then shared with a laugh how, when she first found me passed out on the couch, she thought she might have stumbled upon trouble. I joined in her laughter, but her words made me reflect deeply on the years gone by. Ever since graduation, my life had been a monotonous cycle. Day in and day out, it was all about working for Emma's company, followed by evenings spent with her. Yet, no matter how much effort I put in, it never seemed to be enough for her. Her ever-changing moods kept me constantly on edge. Shortly after agreeing to marry me, Emma seemed to regret her decision. When I, filled with excitement, asked about our wedding date, she coldly rebuffed me, saying she didn't want to marry. She only maintained our arrangement out of respect for her father's dying wish. Her home was a shrine to her deceased lover, with photo frames everywhere, a constant reminder of what I could never be. Even the most innocent of actions, like cleaning, would send her into a rage, leaving me emotionally drained. Looking at Vivian, I couldn't help but smile. As a grown man, I wasn't one to easily unburden my troubles, and my relationship with Emma was difficult to put into words. I wasn't even sure what I felt for her anymore. But Vivian listened intently, following my rambling story to the very end. When I finished, I felt an immense weight lift off my shoulders. After our trip, we returned to the rented apartment, ready to go our separate ways. I watched as Vivian busied herself gathering her belongings, including a small appliance that required some effort to disassemble. I was filled with gratitude for our conversations, but I knew she had her own dreams and a future to pursue, and I was just a brief chapter in her life. As we entered the apartment, we were greeted by an unwelcome sight. At the head of the group was Emma's bodyguard. He nodded at me politely. "James, Emma wants you back." "She wants me back?" I was taken aback by the sudden show of respect. For years, Emma's family had looked down on me, deeming me unworthy. Even her bodyguards had been rude, but now their demeanor was completely different. It felt strange, but it wouldn't sway my decision. "Tell Emma I'm not coming back." I'm done putting up with her nonsense. She can find someone else, I said firmly. The bodyguard seemed surprised by my resolute stance. In all the years of our arguments, I had always been the first to back down and apologize. They had never needed to intervene before. His tone turned menacing. James, if you don't cooperate, don't blame us if things get ugly. I scoffed. Go ahead and try. I'll call the police. This is a civilized society, and you're not going to kidnap someone in broad daylight. He stared at me for a long moment, finally realizing I wouldn't be intimidated. My apologies, James. I spoke out of turn. I'll report back to Emma. Sure enough, it wasn't long before he returned with Emma in tow. She sauntered in, dressed in a form-fitting dress and high heels, her expression as cold and distant as ever. In the few days since I'd left, she seemed like a complete stranger. Maybe it was because I had finally moved on from her in my heart, and looking at her now, I felt nothing of the old emotions. She surveyed the small room with her arms crossed, then said bluntly, James, I think you should come back. You can't seriously plan to stay here indefinitely, can you? We're still married, after all. Emma, have you forgotten? We never got legally married. You refused to get a marriage certificate, and now you expect me to return? I'm sorry, but my answer is no. She looked taken aback by my refusal, her frown deepening. After a moment, she composed herself and said, If this is about what happened with David the other day, it's all sorted out. I'm willing to double your salary if you come back. The company needs you, James. Don't be so stubborn. I was astounded by her words. In the past, no matter how hard I worked, she had always belittled me, as if she thought I'd be left destitute the moment I left. Now, her sudden change of tune made it clear there must be a serious problem at the company that only I could solve. It seemed my skills were more valuable than she had led me to believe. Sorry, I still refuse. Find someone else, I said again, gesturing towards the door. James, stop being so difficult. Do you think I can't find anyone else but you? What a joke, she exclaimed, clearly angry and embarrassed. At that moment, Vivian emerged from the bedroom, coming to my defense. Who do you think you are? First, you reject him, and now that you're in a bind, you come crawling back? I heard every word from the bedroom. Emma frowned at Vivian. Who are you? What's your relationship with him? Before I could respond, Vivian replied with a smirk. I'm James's girlfriend. Who are you to barge in here? Everyone was stunned. Emma turned to me, demanding, When did you start betraying our relationship? I was confused by her reaction. After all those years of her showing no real care for me, her indignation seemed misplaced. I was about to clarify, but Vivian cut in. You two didn't have a real relationship to begin with, so how can there be betrayal? And for the record, we met after you two were over. You throw that word around too easily. James worked himself to the bone for your company every day and then came home to take care of you. The salary you paid him was an insult. You took advantage of his feelings, and double pay is a farce. It's not even close to what someone with his qualifications should earn. Emma's face flushed with embarrassment, her eyes blazing with anger. So, James, this is what you really think? She asked, shocked. I decided to lay it all out on the table. Yes, Emma. You never respected or loved me. You just kept me around because it was convenient for you, both in your personal and professional life. Every day with you was a struggle. Why did you agree to marry me in the first place? Now that I've found my own voice, you're upset? You can have David as your replacement lover, but I'm not allowed to move on after we're through? Back off, Emma. My words left Emma speechless, seething with anger. James, I'm done arguing with you. You're impossible now, she huffed, finally admitting defeat. As Sarah's tirade washed over me, I found myself strangely detached, a sense of relief blooming within. Emma, your opinion of me is no longer my concern. If you find me insufferable, by all means, keep that sentiment. Don't bother changing for my sake. James, is this how you choose to speak to me now? Emma laughed bitterly, her eyes sweeping disdainfully over the shabby rented room. Have it your way. Think my offer is too low? Let's see if anyone else in the market values you more. With a venomous glance at Lily, she whirled around and stormed out, her entourage trailing behind. Her words left me feeling a pang of unease, but Lily's voice cut through my doubts. James, don't let her get to you. Everything I said is true. With your qualifications and experience, you're destined for greater things. My old company is actually looking for someone with your skill set. I'll reach out, and see if the position is still open. Trust me, you're a perfect fit. If she's willing to double your salary, it's because she knows your worth." Her words were like a warm balm, soothing my frayed nerves. I managed a grateful smile. "Thanks, Lily. I really appreciate it. Just call me Lily. And don't worry about it." With those words, we said our goodbyes, each wishing the other a brighter future. No sooner had I closed the door than a message from Emma popped up on my phone. "James, we both overreacted earlier. I'm asking you one last time. Do you want to come back? This is your final chance, and it won't last forever." I scoffed and blocked her number without a second thought. The Emma who was now groveling for my return was a far cry from the cold, haughty woman I had known for years. Back then, at her company, she had been a tyrant. A single mistake would earn me a scathing rebuke in front of the entire staff, my dignity trampled underfoot. Our arguments were a regular occurrence, and she would always compare me to her deceased lover, knowing full well how much it stung. I had tried so hard to win her heart, sacrificing my pride and dreams, only to be met with indifference and cruelty. Taking Lily's advice, I decided to apply to her former company. Standing in front of the imposing building, I felt a twinge of self-doubt. This was a leading enterprise in the industry, leagues above Emma's small firm. But since I was already there, I decided to give it a shot. To my astonishment, the interview process was a breeze. I sailed through the various rounds of assessments, and before I knew it, I was being welcomed on board with open arms. Not only did they offer me a higher position and a generous salary, but they also threw a grand welcome ceremony in my honor. "James, I can't believe you were working at a place like that before. With your credentials, you're going to go far here," one of my new colleagues remarked. At the welcome event, my eyes suddenly caught sight of Emma in the crowd. Her face was contorted with anger and disbelief. It then dawned on me that this company had investments in smaller firms like hers, and as the new regional general manager, she would have to answer to me. The look on her face was priceless. After work, Emma cornered me, her eyes blazing with fury. "James, you've won this round. You've proven your worth. Come back to the company. I'll make you vice president and double your salary." I stared at her in disbelief and shook my head firmly. "I've already said no, Emma. I'm not coming back." Her expression hardened. "If it's something else that's bothering you, I'm willing to marry you. Isn't that what you've always wanted?" Her words were like a bitter pill. Once, I would have given anything to hear those words, but now they left me cold. I remained silent as she rambled on, trying to explain her relationship with David. "It's not what you think. We're just colleagues." But her words fell on deaf ears. I had long since moved on, and her explanations meant nothing to me. Finally, she lost her temper. "James, you're not that special. There are plenty of people just like you. Just because you got a job here, you think you're better than me?" Without a word, I turned and walked away. Not long after, I heard that Emma had hired a new technical manager, recommended by David. But it soon came to light that the new hire had falsified their credentials, and the company suffered heavy losses as a result. The news made headlines, and I saw Emma looking haggard and defeated in a television interview, desperately seeking new talent to save the company. I thought that was the end of it, but one day, Emma showed up at my office, clutching a large bouquet of roses. "What do you want, Emma?" I asked, my voice cold. She forced a smile. "I'm here to take you home. We have nothing to do with each other anymore." She refused to take no for an answer. "James, we've known each other since we were kids. We grew up together. You can't just cut me out of your life like this." She pulled out the wedding ring I had discarded and tried to slip it onto my finger, but I pulled away. I firmly shook off her grasp, the weight of years of unrequited love and emotional turmoil finally breaking free. "Emma, you've never truly loved me. Look at this wedding ring. For all these years, I was the only one wearing it. You never even bothered to put it on." Feelings can wither away, and no matter how deeply I cared, the constant pain wore me down. I, James, have learned to move on. Emma, who had never heard me speak with such raw honesty, retorted sharply. "If you loved me, you'd come back. I'll get rid of David. I'm begging you, James. I'm not joking around." A cold laugh escaped my lips. "Keep David. He's all yours." With that, I turned my back on her pleas. But she became an unrelenting shadow, ambushing me before and after work, even showing up with meals. I confronted her with a forced smile. "Companies and schools are vying for someone with my skills. Your small firm can't afford me. Just stop, Emma." It's over. Her face contorted in anger. James, I've done so much. If you keep rejecting me, don't blame me for taking extreme measures. After another heated argument, she hurled the wedding ring at my feet and stormed off. As I watched her retreating figure, a profound sense of peace washed over me. A few days later, I received an invitation from the company heiress to a grand party. When I saw Lily at the event, elegantly dressed, I suddenly understood the pieces falling into place. She gave me a mischievous wink, signaling me to keep quiet. Emma was also at the party. Her eyes widened in shock at the sight of Lily and me together. James, so you left me for someone better. Pretending to have principles, but you're just a gold digger, she sneered. Lily didn't flinch. Well, big sister, you've got James at home, a crush in your heart, and a stand-in at the company. It's hard to tell who you truly care about. Her words struck a nerve, and an argument ensued. Just as I was about to intervene, Emma's phone rang. She shot us a venomous glare before answering. Her face turned ashen, and I caught snippets of the conversation. Emma, what do we do? David took all the company's funds and fled abroad. Emma crumpled to the ground, trembling. No, it can't be. Lily, looking at the devastated Emma with disdain, called security to escort her out. After that, Emma faded from my life. I learned that without David's money and with key employees losing faith due to his mismanagement, her company teetered on the brink of bankruptcy. The police found a note from David, complaining about being a substitute and lashing out at Emma's ways. She lost everything: her company, her reputation, and any semblance of a stable life. One evening on my way home, I encountered her again. She rushed towards me, her hair disheveled, her once glamorous aura replaced by desperation. Fearful of what she might do, I stepped back. Her eyes filled with tears as she pleaded, James, I've been waiting for you. I finally realized you were the only one who truly cared about me. Please, come back. You can even work at your new company. I have nothing left. I just want you by my side. I took a deep breath. Emma, it's over. There's no going back. But she rambled on. I'll throw away those photos you hate. Just give me a chance. At that moment, Lily emerged from our apartment complex. I walked towards my future with Lily, leaving Emma's desperate pleas echoing in the night. For safety, we moved to a new place. My career soared, and my relationship with Lily blossomed. Then, one day, I heard the news of Emma's passing. Overwhelmed by debt, she had taken her own life. While a twinge of sadness tugged at me, it was a story of the past. Our chapter had long since closed, and I was focused on building a new life, free from the shadows of the past.